A single tariff triggered a $27 billion collapse overnight. China didn't negotiate, they vanished. 12,000 tons of U.S. pork, canceled. Soybeans, replaced by Brazil. Now farmers across the Midwest are holding unsold crops, slashing herds, and watching their biggest market disappear without a sound. This isn't a trade dispute. It's an economic cutoff. Quiet, brutal, permanent. And if this is just the opening move, what's the endgame? In April 2025, 12,000 metric tons of U.S. pork exports to China canceled. Soybean futures plummeted 11% on the CME in 48 hours. Orders vanished as China imposed retaliatory tariffs of up to 125% on U.S. agricultural goods. In response to Trump's April 30th escalation, 145% duties on Chinese imports, the highest since 1971. According to USDA data, $1.03 billion in contracts were wiped from farm books in a week. Missouri farmer Wes Schuma told Bloomberg, "We're planting blind. This isn't risk, it's roulette." Schuma, like thousands across the Midwest, had depended on Chinese buyers for soybeans, pork, and corn. But the silence from Beijing was strategic, not accidental. The question is no longer whether markets will recover, but whether they've already been reassigned. On July 14th, the U.S. will hit Mexican tomatoes with a 20.91% tariff after formally ending a 2019 suspension agreement that had halted anti-dumping duties. Florida's tomato producers cheered, but the $2.7 billion trade flow may now provoke retaliation. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum warned during a press briefing sanctions on U.S. chicken or pork are on the table, referencing a growing push from domestic producers. Nearly a quarter of U.S. pork exports head to Mexico, and industry insiders fear a mirror response. The Fresh Produce Association of the Americas projected a 19% spike in retail tomato prices by August if the tariff holds. Michael Strain of AEI wrote on X, "It is astonishing the administration is openly embracing food inflation. Yet behind this standoff lies a bigger concern, whether trade retaliation is mutating into targeted market removal." In March, China allowed nearly 1,000 U.S. meat export permits, granted during Trump's 2020 Phase 1 deal, to expire without renewal, threatening $5.1 billion in trade. Within a week, beef shipments collapsed 97%, from 2,112 metric tons to just 54 per USDA figures. Joe Shula of the U.S. Meat Export Federation told Reuters, "Exporters are stockpiling. No one wants to gamble with a perishable product. What seemed procedural has turned tactical. Beijing summoned Brazil, Argentina, and Australia to a closed-door review of global beef sourcing, suggesting a coming shift. If China imposes quotas, over 2 million tons of global trade could be rerouted." The U.S., once China's third-largest beef supplier, may be permanently sidelined, replaced in its entirety, not punished temporarily. Polish farmers in yellow vests dumped Ukrainian grain in downtown Warsaw, protesting what they call economic occupation, since the EU suspended tariffs on Ukrainian agricultural imports in 2022. Over 3.6 million metric tons of cheap grain flooded Eastern Europe, driving prices down by 31%, according to Eurostat. The response? Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and Hungary reimposed bans with Brussels approval. One protester, Karmel Wachowski, warned TVP News, "We are not anti-Ukraine. We are anti-extinction." Ukraine's government called the move a betrayal, but Eastern Europe held its ground. Meanwhile, in Iowa, U.S. grain elevators are also full, with no outbound buyers. What links these stories isn't geography. It's the collapse of predictable trade loyalties in the face of domestic panic. Pause and look closer, because these aren't just scattered trade disputes. They're coordinated exits. Silent, surgical, and simultaneous. China didn't slam the door. It just stopped answering. Mexico rewrote its laws. Europe turned on itself. And through it all, America kept talking like it still had the floor. But the uncomfortable truth? The buyers have left the room. And they're not coming back to negotiate. They're coming back to replace the U.S. Mexico's February 2025 constitutional amendment outlawing GMO corn cultivation may appear domestic, but U.S. officials see it as a Trojan horse. While not banning imports outright, the law affects 80% of U.S. corn exports, nearly all genetically modified, the GCMA. Mexico's grain consultancy warned in March that any regulatory extension could constitute an effective import blockade. U.S. corn exports to Mexico are already down 14% year over year per USDA data. Legal tension under USMCA had previously shelved Mexico's 2023 import ban attempt, but this reemergence in domestic form has U.S. producers bracing for a de facto wall. The National Corn Growers Association said in a statement, "Label it how you want, it blocks trade." Now with pork and tomato tariffs already in motion, another front in this trade war may be forming below the radar. When the U.S. Trade Representative announced new port fees on Chinese-built vessels, $50 per net ton starting October, rising annually to $140, it was pitched as a counter to Beijing's shipbuilding subsidies. But according to the Agriculture Transportation Coalition, this move could reduce U.S. rice exports by up to 52% by mid-2026 due to redirected shipping lanes and cost spikes. Small and medium-sized ports say the policy will shift cargo to larger terminals, undermining billions in public infrastructure investment. Bloomberg reports that Chinese-built ships handle more than 45% of U.S. ag export volume to Asia, meaning Midwest grain, pork, and rice could be priced out purely on freight. Farmers aren't just losing buyers, they're being priced off the ocean. In the span of 1 week, China signed long-term grain and protein supply contracts with Brazil's CONAB and Argentina's ACA, targeting corn, soybeans, and fish meal, 3 categories that previously brought in over $9.2 billion in annual U.S. exports. Simultaneously, Beijing extended its regional ban on U.S. pork imports, citing updated health protocols, though no outbreak was reported by the USDA. This isn't retaliation, it's redirection, said agricultural economist Bart Kenner to Reuters. Chinese importers are now rerouting procurement through alternative ports in South America. And logistics software firm Flexport estimates that by Q3 2025, Brazil could overtake the U.S. in total soy shipments to China. These aren't temporary adjustments, they're systemic replacements. According to USDA trade data released April 30th, U.S. pork exports declined 28% year over year, marking the sharpest quarterly contraction since 2018. Corn shipments dropped 22%, and soybean exports to China have fallen by 17% since Beijing's retaliatory tariffs took effect. Tyson Foods paused outbound pork deliveries from its Iowa facility, while CHS Inc. reported that 2 of its major grain elevators in Illinois are now operating below break-even. Feedlots are accelerating culls as export uncertainty compounds storage costs. In just 5 months, more than $1.27 billion in egg revenue has evaporated. Yet there is not enough federal compensation package has been announced. This isn't market volatility, it's collapse, said Peter Friedman of the Agriculture Transportation Coalition. Unlike previous trade flare-ups that ended with concessions or WTO appeals, this rupture is embedding itself into supply chains. China is not threatening to leave U.S. markets, it is doing so piece by piece. Since January, Beijing has allowed over 900 U.S. meat export permits to lapse, while simultaneously expanding port capacity in Ningbo and Dalian for South American shipments, per Lloyd's Register. Meanwhile, U.S. ag groups say re-entry into Chinese supply chains could take at least 5 to 7 years, even under optimal diplomatic conditions. Once supply chains reorganize, the costs of reversal become immense, said Michael Dwyer, former USDA trade official. The fear now isn't disruption, it's permanence. This trade war didn't just change the game. It changed the board. While Washington debates tariffs and Beijing redraws logistics maps, farmers in Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska are burning through cash reserves to stay afloat. But this isn't just about commodities. It's about credibility. Buyers aren't waiting for trade agreements. They're moving on. And if the US doesn't recalibrate quickly, it may not matter what the next deal looks like, because the customers will already be gone. So the question isn't whether this collapse is painful. The question is whether it's final, and if you think the worst is over, just wait until you see who's stepping in to take America's place. We're glad you're enjoying this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out another video that is now on your screen.